This episode is dedicated to Ron Them Things Mitchell. May he rest in peace. My junior year in high school, first game of the season, we're playing against Gaither. And we're pretty much losing the whole game. And under 20 seconds to play, we ended up, tying up the game. And they go down on the other end, and I take a charge from this kid named JoJo DeParker. So as I take this charge, JoJo's still on top of me, but he's arguing with the ref. Like, how is that a charge or whatever? So me being me, I got fired up, and in the heat of the battle, I got him up off me. So as I'm getting up to walk away, my teammate Gerald Mack comes and grabs me, and it made it look like we were fighting. So I get ejected from the game. They get 4 free throws and the ball. So as TJ Lewis, who actually is a coach on our 7th grade team now, as he's hitting all 4 free throws, my coach Phil Stevens is yelling at me, "Look at this ish!" And basically I cost us the game off of a reaction that I made. And word spread fast throughout the city. Every team, every coach, they even if they had a kid who normally didn't get in, they would send him into the game just to make him rough me up. And most of the time he was an old football player or something. And he would rough me up, and they would try to get a reaction out of me so that I would do something stupid to get thrown out the game. Even though I didn't react, I had to deal with that the entire season. Now, I tell you this story for a reason, so keep watching. I'm going to tie it in. So we didn't have anything scheduled this week as far as tournaments go. And our director of the Skills Center, John Arroyo, reached out to all of the teams saying that, the Manatee Mustangs had their tournament. They needed a couple more teams. 6th grade was one of the divisions that they needed, another team in. So I hit up all of our parents to see if they were interested, and they were interested in playing. So we ended up jumping in this tournament, pretty much as a favor. Manatee, they always support us. Great organization, great group of guys and women that, are running that organization. And I have a lot of respect for them. And, so we jump in. So as most of the parents agreed to play in the tournament, we get notified that Caleb Edmonds will be the only player that won't be joining us this weekend. Very important player to us. But, we still expect to win. And, a couple days before the game, I get another call that Big Will won't be attending the tournament. One of our, key players, first 5. But, I still expect to win. So, the day before the game, get another call. Robert Parker is sick. Another huge blow. It's my spark plug. But I still expect to win. So as game time approaches, we're warming up, jumping it up. Big Tony isn't there yet. But I still expect to win. Now, Tony did eventually come. He showed up late. But, he got there like midway 2nd quarter. But here we go.
Come on, JT. Oh, dang it. Good rebound. Go Reed. Woo! Good job! Sorry. Settle down. Settle down.
There you go.
That's you. Good take, London. And 1. Good job. Let's go, London! And 1, man. Come on, foul. Are you serious? Woo, good pass. Woo!
Hey, beat him there next time, AJ. Beat him there, baby.
Good job, London! Good job! I see you, Tony!
So this kid number 12, for each one, teach one. I was basically saying, man, we might be seeing the next Kevin Garnett here. But then I found out that the kid will be 14 in 2019. And, most of my kids are 11 turning 12. So, I'm always on my soapbox saying that kids should play either with their age group or play up, never down. And this is a prime example why. I mean, this kid probably averages over 30 points a game. And in the 8 games that I've seen him play, he's had about that. He probably scores about 80% of this team's points, gets about 70% of their rebounds. I mean, why is this kid playing down? I mean, is it the coaches want to win, the parents want to beat their chest? I mean, I don't know. And even if the kid played with his age group, he'd still be phenomenal. Still be phenomenal. But this is the one of the black eyes of travel basketball. And kids.
Good job! Oh, dang it. Shady crap. This is some shady mess.
So this is where it starts to get really crazy and the home cooking really starts. So, I mean, as you can see, I'm clearly calling a timeout. Dude completely ignores my timeout cries, to the point where he never even turned around. Even when I walked all the way on the court, he still never turned around when I was calling timeout. As soon as my player got in trouble, I was calling timeout, and he just didn't grant it. You know what I'm saying? And it was completely obvious. And then it just got crazy.
Get the rebound! Are you? Wow. London, get the rebound! Get back! Let's go! Let's go, Tony! Let's go, Tony! Oh. Yes! Yes! Good job! Nice take! Oh. Take. Woo! Good job! Good job, Tony! Are you serious? Can we please stop? What? What? Oh my goodness! Man, y'all, that's some bull.
So I want you to look at this play again. So we have our press on, 3/4 court press on. So they throw a pass up the sidelines, almost going out of bounds. So their player catches the ball. He falls out of bounds. Now, Tony gets a hand on the ball as well, but the kid falls down out of bounds with the ball in his hand. So you see the ref closest to the camera. Clearly, I mean, it was obvious. It was no way. He points, it's our ball. The kid who fell out of bounds knew he caught the ball and fell out of bounds. He runs down the court because he's thinking it's our ball. The other ref that's closer to me says, well, he had his hand on the ball too, so that means it's their ball. That was his explanation for this. Now, I'm going to run this clip back so you can see it. Now, you tell me if I'm... Good
job, Tony! Are you serious? Can we please stop? What? What? Oh, my goodness! Hands up! Man, come on!
Jay, cut.
Go by him,
Good,
Lon. Go by him.
Don't play with him, go by him. Good hit. That's it. Finish. Shot. Good hit, Jay. Let him come. Come on, Jamel, you got to get that one. Look for your shot, Reed. Good, Joe. Good hit, Joe. Feed him. Don't be in a rush. Stay. Hands. Too easy, Tone. I got frustrated and she stopped recording. So I don't have a whole lot of the footage, but I mean, it just got worse. The calls got more lopsided. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And not only is that, you know, kid older, tougher. I mean, he's older, but he's the strongest, fastest, most athletic, most aggressive, you know, kid on the court. And we can't touch him because if we do, they're gonna call foul. But on the other end, we're not getting that same respect. And you know, this play right here, I was trying to get a tech to send a message for probably about 3 minutes, and they wouldn't call it. So in this play right here, you know, my one kid that's, you know, somewhat big and strong enough to even match up with this kid. He played probably about 10 minutes because every time down the court, you know, they would call foul anything he does. He has his hands straight up. He's backing up after they just missed on the other end a play with contact. And the ref, you know, blows the whistle and calls a foul, and they get an and one to actually go up. So in the heat of the battle, you know, I went in and grabbed the ball, and I kicked it. Not my proudest moment, but, you know, it happens. And, you know, and this is the crazy part about it. I still didn't get a technical foul after I kicked the ball. I didn't get a technical foul. I didn't get a tech because I wouldn't leave the court. And the ref was like, man, get off the court so we can finish the game. And I said, I ain't going nowhere. Then he teed me up. But, you know, so I'm the crazy one. I mean, but, you know, to each his own, man. It's home cooking, not my proudest moment. And, you know, that's something that'll probably never happen again. Now, I'll probably do some more stuff if I keep coaching. It wasn't funny then, but it's funny now. After I kicked the ball, you know, Jerry was getting thrown out of the game too. And the ball came down and hit him in the chest. But, you know, like the Manatee Mustangs organization, you know, it's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? They can't control how the refs are calling the game. You know, you hire a crew of refs to do a job, and you expect them to do it, man. You know, I host tournaments, so I understand. I get it. But, you know, the guy that was running the gym, I mean, you know, he was a nice guy. He told Jerry, just go stand over by the door. I don't want to, you know, I don't want you to get ejected. I see what's going on. And I don't want to have you banned for the whole weekend. So, you know, and Tony Savage and Rod, you know, they're good guys, man. And I get it. I understand. It's not their fault. It's not a reflection on the Manatee Mustangs organization, but it is a reflection of that refs crew, man. Those guys are a disgrace to the game, man. So just going back to that story I told at the beginning of the video about me getting kicked out of the high school game. So after I kicked the ball, the rest of the weekend, every gym that we played in, and every game, as soon as one of the parents says something, even before the game started in some cases, the ref will be like, hey, if any of you guys say anything, we throwing you out of the gym. As soon as I say something, they'll be like, Coach, we're not doing that today. We're not doing that. I mean, anything. And, what I did was I put a bullseye on not only my back, my parents' back, but most importantly, I put a bullseye on the kids' back, man. And the whole rest of the weekend was a mess. JoJo picked up a foul, and I asked the guy that was working the table, I said, how many fouls does number 32 have? And he was like, for which team? Now, granted, the other team didn't have a 32. I looked after the fact. But he was like, for which team? And I'm like, which team am I coaching? I'm like, damn, what the hell wrong with y'all? And the dude, hey, stop. This the dude at the table working the clock. Stops the game and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what, man? I just turned my back, man. And not only that, that's not even the craziest part. The next morning, we watching the Orange team is playing. And this guy comes out of the stands, and he walks up on one of my parents, and he says, hey, I'm an off-duty cop. I played the game. I've coached on a high school and college level, and I watched you. And he's talking to one of my parents now. He was like, I watched you harass and intimidate these refs all weekend long, and if you do it today, I'm going to take you to jail. And man, he made me homesick because I told him, I was like, look, you trying to intimidate him just because you're an off-duty cop, and like you said, you're off-duty, so take your off-duty ass and go sit down in the stands and watch the game. Like what is this? Like what kind of environment that we playing in? And and that's how the whole weekend went, man. And and I couldn't make this stuff up, man. I mean, even one of the refs was like, we were standing over watching the game, and I walked off to tell Coach Chief something. And when I walked off, when I came back, they were telling me that he was saying, yeah, that guy thinks he can do whatever he wants to. He kicked the ball. Yeah, you got something for him. All that. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, you still got to play the game, right?
Good hands.
No, I didn't make it to the early Saturday games because I went to pay my respects to my good friend Ron. But these refs actually can do a pretty good job, man. I mean, I was watching the film of this game, and I'm like, man, they actually can do a really good job. But I guess because they know these kids, they're connected to these kids, and they can't draw that line in the sand and separate ref from pastor or whatever the hell he does. And I mean, it's just crazy and unfortunate. And I've seen him do it before because back on episode 2, when I went to Jacob's game to watch him play, when they were playing IMG, JoJo and I got there late, and we got there at halftime. Lincoln was down 23 points to IMG, and I watched this ref single-handedly call the most ridiculous calls I've ever seen, keep the IMG's big kids off the court, and you know what I'm saying, and Lincoln ended up losing that game by 1. I showed the very end of that game, but that was by design. And even though I was with Lincoln, I remember telling Jacob and Jacob's mom and dad that, man, if I'm this Lincoln coach, I'm getting thrown out of this game, man. This guy is ridiculous. And never in a million years I would think that he would do that to us, you know what I'm saying, in a travel ball game. I just thought he was doing it to IMG because I guess it was said that they don't know how old those players on IMG. That's the kind of things they were saying in the crowd. They don't know how old those kids are. And I just figured he was doing it because of that. But
Can't throw over, Jay.
Get that.
Too late.
Box out.
Come on, let's go. Beat him, beat him.
All the way.
Maybe.
Good, Charles.
Maybe Keith and Austin. Can you guys know that they took some balls over by the table? Can you make sure it's not those?
I mean, it might be the two that's on the floor, but make sure.
Make sure. There you go.
Woo, good job. Good job. Ain't nobody cuss. Ain't nobody cuss. Man, come on, stop being sensitive and call the game. Ain't nobody cuss. My goodness. This is so terrible.
If I hear anybody cussing over here, they're going to get out this gym.
If you hear anybody cussing anywhere.
I'm letting you know.
Nobody is cussing. Nobody is cussing.
She's got to do it. He's warning us we didn't do nothing yet.
Nobody cussing.
This is so stupid. Oh my goodness.
I gotta go touch your hand.
Sensitive. Whoa. Travel. Call that. Hands straight up. Straight up. Come on, man. That's a... Good job. Good D. Good D. That's good D here. Rebound.
Yes.
Woo! Good job, boys.
Box out. Box him.
Let's go, JT. Good job, London.
Go ahead, London.
Good job, JT. Swing it.
Woo!
Swing it again. Swing it.
Get in.
Yes! Yes!
See the ball. See the ball. No free shots. No free shots.
Hands up.
Drop, Tonio. Look. Look, Tonio.
Hands up. Straight up.
Hold it. Hold it.
Jump.
Move, Tonio.
No foul.
Act like you just had a hamburger in hot dog.
Pass.
There you go. JT, that's why you attack. Nice job, baby. Nice job. That's why you attack. Nice job, baby.
JT was like, nice. Nice. Nice, JT. Nice. Nice.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, terrible. That was smart people. That's a foul! Are you kidding me? Oh my God! Jesus! Let's go, JT. Woo! Good job, JT. Good job, Tony. Do something, Tony. Woo! Good job, Tony.
No free shots.
Good. Oh, damn it.
How'd he drop?
Are you?
He caught the ball when he was on the ground. You guys are off.
Let's go, guys.
Watch your back, son. You gotta get the ball level, son.
Saw that right. A kid in the 6th grade jump up and slap the backboard like that, man. Not tap the bottom of the pad on. Slap the back.
Wow.
That should be a foul.
Wow. Bull jive.
Not to mention this is 6th grade. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness!
Oh, the arm. Come on, baby.
Give me five!
How is that not a foul? Hey, you gotta get
Get in there. Come on, get in there, boy.
Right there was a prime example of why I got so upset in the first game. Because they're calling a game like that, now my boys are confused on how to play defense. So now they're just, instead of beating the guy to the spot and getting their hands straight up, they're just having their hands straight up and letting him walk by. And, you know, that's what really burned me up about it because, okay, I understand that you want your kids from your area to win, but you're hurting my kids because now you're confusing what they're supposed to do defensively.
Move it! Move it! Come on.
Dang it! It's okay, London. Keep playing.
Under control.
Big Tony played limited minutes on this game. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a foul. But there was only that play and one other foul that was a legitimate foul. If you watch this whole film, everything else was crap. And when I complained about it, they were like, how do you think that's not a foul? I'm like, that's a foul, but all of that other stuff you called earlier was not fouls, and they know it. But, you know, at the end of the day, we got to learn how to play.
How is that not a foul?
Hey, make a win!
Take your time, Joe.
Good hit! Hey, make a win! You got to sit up, baby.
Take him, AJ. Get the foul. Yes. Yes. I wish you would have called the foul. God bless my phone died.
Mission accomplished, man. I mean, look, we got better. We played against some adversity. You know, not my best moment. I owe the kids some suicide. You know, but I thought the boys handled the ball well. They didn't complain or anything like that. They kept playing and they fought through adversity. And initially, I said we're never going back to Bradenton and this and that and the other, but we'll be back. I was talking to Jamel's dad, and he made a very good point that you know, the boys need to play in that type of environment with, you know, dealing with that type of adversity. But I tell you what, man, I gotta get our parents under control, man. I'm thinking about doing a fundraiser. Anytime somebody yells at a ref or a coach from the sidelines, they got to put a $1 in the jar, and or something like that, and shoot, even make him, you know, really more impactful. After the game, we're gonna get the money to the ref. But I say all that to say this, man. We getting better, man. Believe that. But my rant is over. Phylon out. I'm gonna let it sit for a while because it.